Today, we're going to utilize a plant with the name of Dogbane. It is a stalk of the plant. We're not going to be using the leaves for the fiber. We're going to be using the bark. And the bark is a very fibrous material that has been working well for cordage. The plant is not a really common plant, but if it is local to your area and you have availability to harvest it, Dogbane can be used to make cordage. And we'll do a little sampling of how to process the fibers and make some cordage. So here we go. To process the Dogbane stalks, what we'll be doing first is crushing the stalk to separate it into 4 sections. And this is done simply by walking on the stalk and crushing it with feet, just like this. This will crush the stalk into 4 sections, which then separate fairly easily. So having crushed the stalk, now I'm going to separate in the middle. Going to separate it out so that it becomes four different sections that lay flat with each other. So we're going to peel this through, separate them out, and now we have the four individual pieces that are laying next to each other. Separate this out a little better, and there it is. Now that they're separated, what we can do is we can go ahead and begin removing the wooden middle part out of the stalk, leaving just the bark. This is done by snapping or breaking, like so. And you want to do a couple inches at a time, not a whole lot, so that it lets the fibers of the bark stay together. These will become the cordage fiber right there. And coming up, we'll snap a couple inches off of there. Remove the wood. And just a couple inches at a time, doing the snapping and peeling the wood off of the bark, leaving the fibers. Snapping a couple inches at a time, working your way towards the middle of the stalk. And then as you get towards the middle, reversing and working from the other end to help the fibers of the bark to remain as lengthy as possible. So switching over to the other end and snapping and peeling the wood away from the bark, like so. There we go. And separating and snapping. Go ahead and pause the recording as I finish snapping and removing the wood out of the middle of the stalk. So I'll finish that, working from both ends towards the middle, and we'll come back as the bark has been removed and we're able to move to the next step of processing. And what we're going to do to remove the fiber from the bark is by clasping the hands and rubbing the bark together. It removes the pulp of the bark and starts to separate out the fiber materials. And as that motion, a little bit of a crushing, a little bit of a twisting motion, and I find that getting a little bit of water on the palm of the hands helps to get a better grip on the bark, to remove the pulp from between the fibers and to get the fibers separating out so that it's ready to weave into cordage. So we'll continue with that process, continuing to separate out the fibers. So a little water on the palms, a little bit of rubbing the bark, and that's processing the fibers very nicely. As you can see there, we're starting to get some good separation. In here, the fibers are separated and the bark has been rubbed between the palms until the fibers are separated nicely. And it's now at the phase of being ready to twist into cordage. I'm going to separate out some of the fibers, and as I've been twisting the Yucca fibers into cordage, I like getting the fibers damp at the beginning so that the fibers are a little bit more flexible. So we'll use a little bowl of water, get the fibers damp, and just run that through both sides, just like that. Okay, now we've got the Dogbane fiber that is ready to begin twisting. And for the twisting process, it's going to start kind of in the middle-ish of the fiber and twisting it until it twists back onto itself, keeping twisting, and then re-pinching it as the beginning of the cordage right there. So got it pinched, twisted. We're going to use the same twisting motion, twisting away, pulling down and towards, re-pinch, twist away, pull down and towards, and re-pinch. And twist away, pull down and towards, re-pinch. Twist away, pull down and towards, re-pinch. So you're going to continue that motion and just kind of work the fiber there as the beginning of the cordage. And doing that same twisting away and pulling down motion is going to move through some of this cordage here until I start to notice that one of the strands, or I should say one of the bundles that's being twisted into cordage is thinner than the other bundle. So what we're going to do at this phase is we're going to add in some additional fiber to the thinner of the two of the cordage pieces, the fiber bundles. So I'll twist this in and pull down and towards and re-pinch. Twist away, pull down and towards, twist away, pull down and towards. And the added fiber that sticks out there will be trimmed off later, but for now it's just going to just hang out right there, and we'll do the twist away, down and towards, re-pinch, and we'll continue that process. Very, very similar to twisting the Yucca cordage. This is a very soft fiber, easy to handle, and seems to make great like necklaces, bracelets. The cordage may not be quite as strong overall as the Yucca fiber cordage, but the Dogbane, very soft, very workable, and it's making some great cordage here. We'll pause at this point, pause the recording, and I'll continue twisting, and we'll get back to the cordage progress check in just a minute. And that completes the construction for the Dogbane Cordage. Went ahead and processed a few more sticks, a few more stalks, and this is the cordage that was made. The little fuzzy ends will get singed off with a lighter, and that'll clean it up, and it'll be ready to use for maybe a necklace or a bracelet, or for any of the cordage uses that a person might have. And that completes the tutorial on processing Dogbane and twisting it into cordage. Hope you enjoyed.